we've got a session that we ran in our virtual sound check. That's why you can see that choppy face over there. So there's one of our musos rather. So the way we did this is the first thing I wanted to show you is what's called Venue Link. Venue Link is something that came into Pro Tools from Pro Tools 10. You go to your peripherals and you have right on the far right hand side, many of you that have Pro Tools can go click on that and you would see the venue button, but you wouldn't obviously have a venue, so you wouldn't be able to do anything. But here we just go look at the interface, which is our AVB interface, which has got a network port ID. We can select that one. In this case, this is a Mac Pro, so it's got 2. We just select the correct one. And then you go and you select the engine. Now, obviously, when you're on a large network, you can have multiple engines. So in this case, we've just got the Sound GP engine. Here we go, we select that and it says connected. When it's connected, this peripheral, that opens up a nice little world of tricks where you can go to File, and you say Create New. It brings up this little tab here. So again, those in Pro Tools would see the difference. Create from Venue. When you click on Create from Venue, what that does is it looks at this. I'm going to switch to another page quickly. I'm going to switch back over to here. So now I'm back on the S6L and you can see my Patchbay. So in my Patchbay, I've got stage racks. When I have a populated stage rack, in other words, I have some patching, which you're going to see those are all orange dots at the moment because I'm in virtual sound check mode, so I can run my playback. My playback's coming from Pro Tools. If I had to go to a channel and just change that away from Pro Tools, wrong one, sorry, my bad. Select this one and do that. You would see that first channel now is back on the stage rack. Okay, so I can do that per channel, which is quite nice. Do the next one as well. So the minute I've got a stage rack connection, like you can see there, in other words, the gray block, the console has now got a connection to a stage rack. So what that does is when I now go and I click on that New from Venue, what Pro Tools does is it looks at the AVB network, looks specifically at the stage racks, and any port that's associated with the stage rack input port, in other words, an actual port that's got gray on it, it then creates a channel for it. It also looks at your Pro Tools patching tab. So if you've assigned a direct out from your left and right that you want to record, or a subgroup or a matrix or anything that you've assigned and actually patched it to Pro Tools, in other words, you've made a connection, it will create a track and label it according to what you've done. If I take a Pro Tools session and a song is 5 minutes long, but it's at 44.1 kilohertz, it's a different length to a 48 kilohertz and different lengths to 96 kilohertz. So if I'm running at 96 kilohertz here, but I'm clocking down to 48, and I'm feeding MADI or ASCBU to an OB van, and I'm not clocked to them, then our clock starts drifting. So we're all cycling, and he's running a clock there, I'm running a clock there, but our clocks need to sync up, and they need to stay in sync. So we might both be running 48K as a master, for example, but our 48Ks need to clock, and they need to be in sync so that when we do a digital link between us, like ASCV or MADI or Dante manages clocking in a slightly different way in terms of internally on devices, and that's something else, you guys, if you ever do the Dante 1 or Dante 2 or Dante 3 level courses online, they'll explain a lot of that to you. Those are free, by the way. I don't know, 3 is not free, but 1 and 2 is free. But if you're not clocked, issues. Generally what I do is I park next to one of the vans. The big expensive vans, they've spent a bit more money on them than I have on mine. So they've got a word clock generator or Black & Burst generator or some kind of clock master or Rosendahl or something in the van, which is the master of everything, video and audio. So you can see my sync issues. So I would take a Black & Burst from them, which is their video clock master, and everything is synced to that. I would take that as an input to my Tascam, which means my Tascam unit now clocks to the van, and all my stuff is connected to the Tascam. So even if I'm not doing digital links, I'm clocked to them. So if ever I want to plug in an ASCBU or a MADI or any kind of connection to them or from them, I'm clocked. And system integration, when you travel around, especially when you want to go into a live environment where what we do these days is we encourage a lot of the music directors to purchase a Dante virtual license for the machine. They don't have to purchase any Dante hardware, just a DVS, Dante virtual sound card, which turns your network port on your machine into a Dante port, an ASIO port basically. And then we can see that. So you're sitting with your laptop on stage, and remember in the old days, the guys are rocking up with dodgy, unracked, I/O units and this weird tangled up cable that they only take out their bag once a week or once a gig, and it's in a bad state, and then they want to give you a clock, and then they can't figure out which jack works, and one of the jacks don't work, so they're plugging in 1, 7, 3, 4, all these kind of things. Now we just run a Cat5 there, plug them in, we see them pop them on the network, we ask them, how have you done your routing? Or we do it, and they go, huh? We help them. But that also means we can get from a guy that's running Ableton, we can, like we've done, like I shared with you guys with voice, we were running 2 machines, both on Dante, 18 channels from each, main and backup, and it's not an issue. I don't have massive hardware interfaces that I need to deal with. And I can send signal back for recording purposes and talkback purposes and all that kind of stuff. So it really helps integration like that.